Shutter Klick, welcome to the Underground Society podcast, dude.
What up, man? Excited to be here.
Hell yeah. Is this your first podcast?
I did Mitch's Taboo, Talks with
Okay, yeah.
Taboo. He was on the bus tour with us for the Liquid Stranger tour,
hmm
and so he was kind of just interviewing everyone on there, and so I had a good chat with him for like
That's
an hour and a
awesome.
half, just talked about
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. His podcast is structured a little differently than mine. Mine's more geared towards like educational stuff. But yeah, Taboo's a great guy. I met him
Oh yeah,
at Toxic Summer this past year. Very cool dude.
he was just in Portland, and it was a wild time, stage diving, all his own.
Yeah. He's a wild man. You mentioned Portland. You're from there, right?
Yeah, I was born
Or
and raised
okay,
in Portland, actually.
nice.
Um, yeah, that's kind of where I got my start. I work with like Red Cube a
Okay.
lot in Portland. I don't know if you know like 45 East or the Roseland.
Yep.
Those are
Yep.
kind of like the big
Venues.
ones. Yeah.
How did you originally get into photography then? How did your journey kind of begin? 'Cause I know originally you weren't shooting shows. You were kind of just doing like portraits and like landscapes and stuff like that. Like most people start out, I'm sure, doing.
Yeah.
But how did you kind of get your start?
I actually was like modeling for a few years in
Okay.
Portland, and I was always kind of like fascinated by the cameras and like the angles and like the ways the artists would kind of set up the scenes. And I started just shooting on my phone, just shooting like friends, and I'd go on like lots of hikes. Um, I was shooting waterfalls and all the like pretty stuff in Oregon here, and that was like getting really good traction on Twitter. And so I was just like the engagement was like coming back, so I just like was doing it more and more because I was like growing really fast doing that. And then I bought a camera uh, and actually like snuck my camera into a couple shows, and the guys throwing the shows were not stoked about it, but they
Uh,
ended up they ended up really liking the photos, so it like they're like, don't do that again, but like you're hired.
yeah.
And it just like worked out because their photographer was leaving at the time. So yeah, I just started shooting like really cheap, kind of like a couple test shows. They liked those. I like bought a flash, and then um, yeah, it just kind of has been rolling from there.
You started what, 2016, 2015?
I think it was like more like shooting shows was probably like 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been like 5, 6 years now.
That's
Everything
how
like
fast.
blurs so fast, especially since
Yeah.
like when you're just like hitting a different city, like multiple cities per weekend. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know I don't even know like where I've been because like even on the Liquid Stranger, like with Liquid Stranger alone, I probably hit like over 100 cities, like almost
Damn.
every state. So
That's
yeah,
crazy. You've pretty much been around the entire country at this point now, just through photography then.
yeah,
That's
two
awesome.
bus tours and then like multiple like just flyouts.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm doing the Enzo tour right now, and that's like all fly out. So it's just fly
Oh,
out.
that's easy. Do you
Yeah,
prefer fly out?
I don't know. There's something about the bus that's just.
Okay.
I guess I'm just like young enough and can like, and I'm just like a like kind of about the grind still.
Yeah.
Um, the bus is just like it's just nonstop. But the nice thing about that is it's like kind of the same thing every day. So you can get into like a rhythm, even though
Okay.
it's like a different city. Everything starts kind of just like rolling. You just like wake up at 11 or 12 and then like go out, do some like portraits with the guys around the city,
hmm
grab some food, and then by that time it's like sound check. um, I'm just like editing the shots from the last night throughout the day, and then the show will start, shoot the whole show, ends at 2, get on the bus leaves at 4, and then you just sleep while the bus is driving. So
Mm.
wake up at like 10 the next day and do it again. So it just like really flies by, but I love it. It's like consistent money too.
How often are you home then during like a tour like that?
Bus tours, you're not home.
Okay.
You like don't
Oh, that's right. You're
go
home
home.
now because you're on a fly out show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
bus tours are more like rare for me. I've only done like 2 of those.
Okay.
uh but I mean, I love it. I might be hopping on the Seven Lions tour.
Oh, new
um
album tour.
yeah, so that's kind of like in the works right now. That's not like officially
Right.
scheduled, but there's like talks with that. So very excited to get back on the road. Like
Awesome.
just grind out like 2 months of my life. My girlfriend's
Yeah.
not stoked about that whenever I leave, but I'll like fly her out, and we always come to Oregon and Washington and stuff. So she'll come out and
Yeah.
visit.
That's awesome. So what about a photography initially kind of attracted you to it? What did you like most about it? I know you started out with modeling and stuff, but what was kind of like what perked your interest about being on the photography side behind the lens instead of in front of the lens?
Um, I was going to shows for a while, just with friends who were like introducing me to the music and like trap and stuff like back in like
Hmm.
2016. And I think it's just like the energy. Like there's there's like such crazy energy at shows. Like you can't really find that anywhere else really. Maybe like a sports game or
Hmm.
something, but
Still
it
though,
was
yeah,
yeah,
still, especially EDM, like the crowds are wild.
yeah, it's just like a challenge to like try and capture that energy. And like last weekend with Peekaboo, we were in Bellingham, and it was pretty small. It wasn't small. The production just wasn't really there. And I'm used
Mm,
to just shooting huge LED walls and just
right.
trying to capture like all the production and the lights and the lasers. And that wasn't really there. So it kind of like brought me back to like when I first started, just trying to capture the energy and like the angles of the crowd that shows like the passion going on in the venue, and not necessarily
Hmm.
just the huge wall and the CO2 cannons. So I got this sick shot from like low in the crowd with all these hands like reaching towards him, and like
Oh,
he was like
sick.
framed like right in the middle. And I like showed that to him on the drive back, and he was like super stoked on it. But it was just kind of fun getting back to like when I first started, when I
Yeah.
was shooting in tiny little clubs and there wasn't really production. It was just like the angles you found and the energy you were
Hmm.
able to capture. But I think that yeah, the energy is like fascinating to me, and like being able to try and capture that is a challenge for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. When did you figure out that photography was kind of like what you wanted to pursue as like a full-time career path?
I'm like still don't even know if that's like what I want to do like forever.
Really?
Like
What would be
honestly,
the
there's
other
just
thing
like
that
not
you're interested in?
probably like tour managing with
Okay.
like a side of photography, like running their tour and then like also getting them photos and stuff. So it's like kind of a like they don't have to hire a photographer.
Hmm.
Like I can do both aspects.
Save some
So
money.
that might be the next direction I'm going. But um, I didn't realize I could make this a career until I got like a manager, which it's actually like the 1 year
Right.
anniversary of that today. I was asking him earlier because I like wanted to bring that up in the interview. He's like, it's funny enough, it's actually like our 1 year today. But before that, I was reaching out solo. I was like sending invoices. I was every time a lineup would drop, I would just scour Facebook for artist management emails
Hmm.
and cold email like every single person in the lineup. And that was like really getting old, and I was kind of like maybe about to give up just because like I don't know, it's just too much work to also be doing like all the editing and the reaching out and the emails and the following up after and like trying to get paid and not hearing back. And it was just like I was doing the job of like three people kind of, I felt like, and it was just like really wearing me down. I think I did that for like 3 or 4 years almost.
Ooh, exhausting. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially as you started to grow and get more, opportunities and stuff. That's a lot to juggle. Early days, it's not
yeah,
so bad because you don't have as many opportunities. But as you start developing portfolio, I'm sure that's changed the game a little bit.
yeah. And like you have to have like a second job at first, and then I was able to quit my job. And yeah, having the manager just take all that like work and stress off my back has just been like an absolute game changer. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
really go back. Although like I think the thing that was like keeping me going was like I would hear back from certain artists when I was cold emailing, and like I would build these little relationships with them. Um and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we want you for the next one. Like next time we're in the Northwest, like we'll hit you up." Uh, so I think that like kind of kept me going. I was like, oh, I'm on the right track. Like they want to use me again, so I must be doing something right. But it was just the workload that was really getting to me.
Yeah. I know I saw on on your Instagram, as I was digging through doing some research, that you mentioned that you were potentially going to be going to film school. Did you go to any form of schooling or anything for photography, or has it all just been like learn as you go? And
No,
did that actually ever happen for you?
I probably should have. I was interested in doing that, but everything's just been like happening so fast.
Yeah.
Like the I would have loved to. We recently hired a guy onto our team, Luis, who is like formally trained in photography, and went to like
Okay.
college for it and everything. And his work is just like I feel like miles better than mine. He's like one of my favorite photographers. So like, I mean, we have very different styles, but yeah, I think formal teaching might have done me well. But I also just like taught myself through trial and error, and it's like kind of worked out, and I've found my own style and my own way of shooting. So I don't know if like having that formal training would have made me shoot in a more like formal manner and like less creatively. Everything was just kind of like happening, so I was like, oh, like whatever, I'll just figure it
Yeah.
out. And like even like my first couple of gigs at this tiny dark little club, I didn't even have a flash or anything. I was just trying to do my best, like figure out my ISOs. And like I feel like my entire career has just been like, you're here, like figure it
Trial
out.
and error.
Like yeah, you made it to this place, now just like do it.
It's
And it's
funny.
it's
Yeah.
always worked out.
Luckily you have the talent too. I mean, was there ever a time that you felt like your work wasn't good enough for the point of where you were in your career?
Uh, yeah, I don't
Like
know.
some imposter syndrome, I guess would be the best way to explain that.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe the first Thunderdome, and I was like really new to it, and I got brought out by like Squanto and Subtronics
Oh, sick.
and Hesh, and they were all like still like kind of small, and then I was like asked to come up and like shoot some of like the headliner or something, and I was just
Hmm.
like, I felt like I shouldn't be there, um, but like for the most part, like I feel like I've earned the bookings I'm getting,
Yeah.
and like the people like put their trust in me, because I have that experience, and I'd say I'm like pretty cool under pressure. Um, like I've been on the Excision Media team for Lost Lands, and that was like an insane amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, or like
I love Lost Lines. I've been going the last few years it's happened, so Lost Lines is
yeah,
my second home.
that's all. It's always a trip, like being up there on main stage. Like I was with Subtronics last year.
Yeah.
You're just like sitting there before the set. Sometimes I'll like stretch or just like take deep breaths. I'm like, this is like really happening right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
on main stage. Like there's a whole live stream going out to the world. There's whatever 30,000 people out there in the crowd, and I'm about to
Hmm.
be like standing up there. Um, I do have to like kind of breathe sometimes, but I feel like I've earned the opportunities I'm getting, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's cool that you're able to take a second to like acknowledge it too and just be like, holy shit, this is real life right now.
I feel like you kind of have to, or it'll just like fly by
Yeah.
like everything else. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yep.
just take a breath and you're just like, okay, like I'm here right now. I earned this. Like everything's gonna be okay. Like let's just go do what we've always done. Like
Hmm.
don't overthink it. And then you just like like pull yourself out of reality for a second. Just be like, I'm here. Like I feel like I remember those times a little
Yeah, that's
more.
awesome. In the earlier days, did you have support, a lot of support from your parents, or was there ever like a fight back? 'Cause with any creative field, I know there's some maybe some pushback from your parents if they're not entrepreneurs or creative people themselves. Were they like supportive the entire way, or were they
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like you want to do? Okay, that's cool.
No,
Yeah.
they've been like 100% backing me. They're both artists too. My dad's like a sculptor.
Ah,
My mom's like a silk painting artist.
that works
And
then. They
yeah,
very similar past then.
they
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, they've supported me like no matter what I do. And
That's dope.
yeah, they like the first couple years I wasn't like able to really. I wasn't like making a bunch of money, and so like I was able to like continue living with them, and
Hmm.
um, they've always been like 100% behind me. I've like brought them to a few shows too. When Troy Boy came to Portland last time, I like brought them out there because I was trying to think like what's a good show to bring your parents to, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, Troy Boy's like vibey, like
Yeah. Yeah.
they'll get down to that. Um, but I don't know if I'd take them to like Excision
Lost
or
lines. Yeah.
yeah or like Thunderdome or something,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that might be a bit much, but yeah, no, they've 100% supported me, and I'm like very thankful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when you have parents that are creative people. Like I said, creative people themselves, or like my parents. Kind of similar way, but they're both entrepreneurs. So it's nice having parents that like kind of have a similar, or they kind of went down the similar path. And um, I know certain people who are artists or that work in the music industry who have parents that are more traditional. They have a lot of struggle with that, where it's like,
Well, yeah, that
so
I probably wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing if that would have been the case.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think a lot of the creative people, like especially in this industry, if their parents would have just pushed them to college and like kind of shut down that
would have done it.
creative side of them, like maybe none of this would have happened.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm super appreciative of that, and I bet most
awesome.
people's parents who are doing this have been okay with them
Yeah.
going for it. Like I know I was listening to a podcast with Dylan Francis the other day, and he was like he went to college for like a year, wasn't feeling it, and then like
Hmm.
had this talk with his parents. He's like, I'm gonna come home and work on music every day for a year, and if it doesn't work out, like I'll move out
Yeah.
and go back to school. But like will you support me for that
If my
year?
path doesn't work, then I promise I'll do your path. But I just have to
Yeah,
do this. Yeah.
yeah. And so
That's
he
funny.
like moved home into like his like guest bedroom or something, and just like made music for a year straight, and
Yep.
like put out a crazy record, and like it's like history from there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Going back to kind of you getting your opportunities and you starting your networking and stuff like that. What was one of the first venues or first artists that you really got your first like consistent opportunity with?
Um, I'd say like my biggest first opportunity was with Said the Sky.
Okay. Yeah, I
He,
saw that you did a lot of work with William and said this guy and those guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was like my first like big thing. Um, I think I reached out to him about shooting like Paradiso or something, which is
Mm.
a festival at the Gorge
Gorge. Yep.
that was happening before Beyond. Uh, and his team was just really friendly, like loved my work, brought me out. I did like a whole like West Coast run for him opening for Millennium. Did like Washington, Portland, uh, Cali, and I've done RedRocks with him. I'm
Not to change the subject, but just kind of take a side tangent real quick. How is RedRocks? I've always been wanting to go, and you've shot that. So how is that?
I don't like have very good things to say about RedRocks.
Really interesting. Why?
Yeah, as a photographer, it's like very dark and like very quiet.
Okay.
Um, like you stand at the back and like I don't know if it was just like the show I was at, but
Hmm.
it's always been just kind of I feel like they deal with a lot of noise ordinances. I've heard that if you go over a certain decibel limit, they'll charge you by the minute.
What the heck?
Yeah, so
That's
it's funny.
crazy.
They have like sensors in the rocks, I guess. And one year I heard that ZZ just said like fuck it and just cranked it and just paid like over 100K in like fines. That
Damn.
might be a rumor, but like I thought that was fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
they
I've
keep
never
everything
heard that.
quiet. There's a community that lives at the bottom of that hill, so I think
Oh.
they just have to like tread lightly. I mean,
Bro,
it's
don't buy. I don't understand that concept. Don't buy a freaking house near an amphitheater if you don't want noise. Like, come on. It's
yeah,
like buying a house next to a racetrack or a football stadium. Like, why would you do that?
or an airport.
Yeah, or an airport. Yeah.
I like the venue is obviously like beautiful, but like the there's like stairs and it's all first come first serve, and the stairs only like 2 or 3 feet wide, so like if you're at like a dubstep show, like you can headbang, but you're kind of just like dancing in place the whole time.
Mm. Yeah,
Like
'cause
it's
there's
it's
seats, right?
great. It's just like giant like steps, like 3 foot long
Oh,
steps.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so you just like you can dance, but you're just like you can't really move, and
Mm.
I don't love that. Like the gorge, you can set up a spot, dance all around, go down to the
Right.
pit, headbang, come back up. Like there's just a lot more freedom. Whereas you just have to get there like super early in the day if you want good seats, and then
Right.
you can't really move while you're dancing, and it's not that loud. And I don't want to be like a buzzkill. I think everyone
No,
should go
yeah.
there, but like I was just a little let down.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you for telling me that side of things. Is normally every time I hear, "Oh, Red Rocks is amazing. Oh, you have to go to Red Rocks," and that's cool and interesting for me to hear the other side of that.
I'm also like slightly jaded, I feel like, in the scene because I've been
Yeah.
to almost every venue and I've like seen everything. My girlfriend's always like, "Oh, you're such a buzzkill." Like, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I can be more picky because I've just like experienced a lot of things. I'm not like trying to be a downer. I'm just like, I guess, be like more real or just like
Yeah.
not try to put a rainbow coat over
Yeah,
it or whatever.
for sure.
I think everyone should go for sure.
Yeah, I want to go. I've never been. If you were to choose one person, if you were just like a fan, didn't have to shoot the event or anything, who would you say would be like a must see there?
Ooh. At Red Rocks. Um, I don't know. Everyone like brings their own. I think like a Deadbeats show would be really cool there,
Yeah, Dead
because
Rocks.
they
Yeah,
bring like crazy production. I know some. Uh, Most people like bring pretty good production, but yeah, they just like build like weird stages, and I had a lot of fun at the BTSM one. Those guys go
yeah,
crazy. They did the. I was helping film the live stream for that one, um, and they had their whole like movie experience. So
yeah, yeah.
they had filmed a whole movie that goes along with their set. So the crowd was just kind of like oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like what is going on? So that was really cool. But
I saw that at not Red Rocks, but I saw that at Bill Graham their last a few months ago.
is that where you're
Very cool
at?
show. Yeah, yeah. I live like 30 minutes from San Fran.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I go down there quite often.
yeah,
But I've like, only ever shot the Bill Graham and that big beautiful venue that Liquid played at, the Armory or something.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old opera house or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But yeah,
But I love Bill Graham. That's a very cool venue.
yeah, they have some great shows there.
Yeah,
All the big
yeah.
guys
Pretty much.
come through,
Yeah, everyone plays there.
and they have like
Go.
Crush and Wobble and everything too, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Wobble Land and then Crush and then well, I think they do one other thing. I thought there was another. I think there was like
Excision always comes through on his tour and does like multiple nights
yeah,
too, which
yep, yep,
is
yeah. That's
really
another.
sick.
Yep, yep. And then
The
Alenia plays every year. Seven Lions plays
oh
every
yeah,
year. Yep, yep.
the that Thunderdome lineup is pretty crazy. I'm really hoping I can make it.
Yeah, yeah. Are you potentially going to be shooting that?
Yeah, we reached out to everyone uh, on the lineup, and we know quite a few of them. So I'm hoping one or two of those will come through. I have like my whole friend group is going to. So
Yeah.
worst case scenario, I shoot one artist and just have a great weekend with my friends. So
Sick.
yeah,
That'd be awesome. Yeah. And you get paid to be there, and you get to go for free regardless because of your job position.
yeah. I haven't paid for a concert or like a festival or anything like since I started.
Yeah, mainly the other stuff is like I'll do like two major festivals a year, like Lost Lands I'll pay for. But
Yeah,
someday, man, someday that's a goal of mine is to be like I don't want to pay for anymore.
you just got to get like a press pass or like
Yeah,
get one, just like reach out to Excision and be like, hey,
yeah,
like I'm an agency or I'm a publication.
right,
Like
right.
you'd benefit from having me there. But yeah,
I want to.
I'm always shooting like one person, so I at least get like a free ticket or
Right,
and like it kind of pays for my like travel or whatever. But it's nice to
that's cool.
really book it out and like uh whenever the Gorge shows happen, that's a local venue for me. So I just drive out, I camp, and then I'll just like stack my schedule,
Yeah,
try and get like 4 or 5 people a day, and really maximize that the fact that I don't have to travel and I don't have expenses as far as
right.
flights and hotels and stuff. So yeah, that's a big thing.
How does that typically work when you're like like you're doing right now with Enzo? Are they paying for like mainly your expenses and stuff? Is that a part of like your photography fee, or do you have to cover expenses and they just pay you like a flat thing for your photography?
It really depends on the artist. With them,
Okay.
they're like covering everything. And when I was with Liquid, he covered everything. Like
Yeah.
he'll cover Uber to the hotel, flight, hotel, Uber home, and you'll get like a daily uh, per diem for food.
Oh, sick. That's
Um,
nice.
yeah, that is really nice. But if you're working with like smaller artists, they might only have enough to like give you a portion of
Right.
that, and then you'll like book a couple other artists, and they'll give you another portion, and you'll kind of like
Hmm.
figure it out. So it's about the size of the artist and the budget that they have to work with.
Right, right. That makes sense. Yeah, because it's some, like you said, figuring it out. Maybe one artist will pay for your flights or whatever, and the other artist will pay for like
Yeah.
your actual fee or whatever it may be. Yeah.
At this
Well,
point, I'm not really trying to fly out somewhere if I'm gonna like be breaking even or not making money.
yeah.
Um, I've
Well,
I've
yeah,
just
because
been doing this
it's
for
your
like too
job.
long.
So
Yeah, and
yeah.
this is like what I do full time. So like,
Yep.
I really have to make it work. Like if someone wants me to come out, I have to be like making money or like
Hmm.
maybe shooting the openers or like something like that just to make it make sense for me.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. Out of all the people who you've gone on tour with, who's been some of your favorite to work with?
Ooh, um, it's funny like the with the bus tours, you kind of become really close with certain people. On the bus, you just kind of gravitate towards each other and just like do everything
Hmm.
together. Um, this most recent tour, it was probably Mersive,
Okay.
uh, Anderson. Uh, we just
I
kind of
love
did
Merciv.
everything together. He was trying to get his steps done every day on his Apple Watch and shit. So we'd like go on
Just
long
go for walks.
walks. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd go on walks, go like try and find cool restaurants, do like fun portraits, like go walk on the beach and stuff. Um, and the first tour, let me see who was on that. I forget who the openers were. It was really cool on the first tour. Like Martin, Liquid Stranger, was
Hmm.
very involved. He was on the bus.
The last tour, he was like still like kind of. They were being very, very careful about the whole COVID stuff, huh?
Yeah. So the first
Yeah.
tour, he was like really close, and he'd stay up and he'd talk with everyone, and
Hmm.
uh, he'd be there like at all times, and we'd always be chatting. And then uh, the tour actually got shut down because of COVID. We were in Reno or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's this thing going on. Everyone's canceling. We're gonna send you home in the morning." And we are like, "What?" Like, because we didn't know what was going on. We were in our own
Right.
little bubble. Um, we had done like 35, 40 stops, and like cities were shutting down as we were leaving them. So we like did San
Oh
Francisco, and then it
man.
like closed the next day. We're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. What the hell?
Um, because yeah, we're just in our own thing. Like we're not like necessarily like watching the news or like paying attention to all this stuff. So that was our trip because they were just like, "Oh yeah, it's over. Like you're going home. Bye." Uh, but I was saying the second tour was a little different because they were super conscious of COVID,
Hmm.
and he couldn't get COVID because so much money was on the line.
Right. I think I was watching. He has a podcast, Wakon TV, and I was listening
Hmm.
to that, and they were talking about how like it would be one thing, if say you don't want to lose someone like Taboo or whatever if he's on the
Yeah,
tour on that leg of the tour, immersive or whatever. Because you want them obviously to be the support, but if one of them got sick, you could still carry on the night because Liquid's there. Like you
you
could
could
have
also
someone
just
else
like fly
fill in.
someone out. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
he could not get sick. So like
Yep.
whenever he actually had his own bus for that tour. We had two tour buses and a semi for gear.
Hmm.
So his manager, his assistant, and it was like Loper, Chloe,
Yep.
the tour manager Zane, and him. And that bus was just like locked down. We weren't even really allowed on the bus. If we were around Martin, we had to wear a mask. We weren't allowed to go out like in the city and party. Um, we had to pretty much wear a mask anytime we weren't on the bus. This was
That's
like
crazy.
during COVID,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was like, it was understandable. Uh, but yeah, that was just like much different because I know it was like killing Martin because he's just such a, like a lovable, uh, invested person. Like he just wants
Hmm.
to talk to everyone, get to know you, see like how you're doing, if you're happy. And I could tell it was just like not ideal for him
Yeah.
being so secluded from everyone. And I felt kind of bad. And I also like really missed that aspect of the tour because he's just like a very loving, amazing person. And even though we were
Seems
on
like a
tour
very
with him,
chill
it
guy
felt
too.
like, yeah, it just felt like he wasn't really there almost because
Yeah.
he was so pulled away from us, but still had a great time and everything went off without a hitch. I don't think anyone got sick. So,
Sweet. Perfect. What about your favorite festival? Out of all the festivals you've shot, what has been one of your favorite festivals to shoot?
It's got to be Basscanyon.
Okay. Dude,
Like
I
the
still have not been
gorge,
to the gorge. I need to go.
it cannot be beat. It's like my favorite venue of
My
all
my
time.
problem was I would go to Base Canyon, but I'm like, well, Lost Lands is at least for like the lineup and like some of the other thing. Like I just feel like Lost Lands may be a better festival overall than like Base Canyon, but I still want to go to the gorge at some point. Maybe I'll go to like Beyond or something to just like
Yeah,
experience
it's
like 'cause that
insane.
view is insane. All the pictures, especially even your pictures that you've taken, like it looks incredible.
Yeah, it's like jaw dropping. I've seen people who come up, they come up like over the hill and just start sobbing. Like
Yeah,
like it's that
it's
insane.
breathtaking. That's dope.
Yeah. But they just bring incredible production. Everyone like
Yeah,
dresses up to the nines. The photos you can get of the people are insane. The energy is wild. Like my favorite thing to shoot is dubstep,
yeah,
purely for the energy. Uh, the crowds are just always going insane. There's mosh pits. There's great production. You go to a house show and everyone's just like doing this, like wearing
yeah.
sunglasses, like, and they don't even want their photo taken. Um, so yeah, I'm just like
Dubstep
there
people
for
are
the
like
energy.
crazy and they're
So
like, take my picture.
yeah, they're like ah,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're adding more and more stages too with the with Bass Canyon. They had
That
four
was the other
stages,
thing.
I think.
Yep. Yep. That was the other thing because
So
originally it was only like one stage and I was like, "Ah, I
yeah,
don't really want to spend the money to travel that far for me and like, eh. And then Lost Lands is like at least two. So,
yeah. I mean, the gorge is like so beautiful. You can kind of just set up on the hill and
yeah.
like with your homies, like have like a base, and then you can go out and explore from there, or just like
Yep.
chill and like nap or whatever you want to do. Um, but yeah, with all the new stages, the second stage has like insane production now. It's
Sweet.
absolutely massive. They have a third stage for like up and coming artists, which is really nice. And then they have like a local stage for people from Oregon and Seattle who
Hmm.
won competitions or something. Uh, but yeah, it's just like the lineups are curated so well. There's tons of artists that you didn't know about that you like become obsessed with afterwards.
Yeah.
Like he I think he's really good at putting on people who he knows is are about to pop.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I would highly recommend going there. It's stunning. I get it if you live far away and the travel can be like a huge issue. You fly into Seattle and then it's a 4 or more hour drive from Seattle.
Yep.
So that's I hate festivals that are like that.
It's
I've
almost
been to
worth it, at least
tons.
for where I'm at. It's only because I think most of the people that I know that have been, like a lot of my friends and stuff that have been, have all driven because it's like a 12-hour drive. And
Hmm.
they're like, if I'm gonna drive
Oh
four or
yeah,
5 hours and land, like, might as well just drive the entire thing.
there's tons of people there from like San Diego and like
Yeah, yeah,
Reno and Las Vegas. Like if you can drive it, I think it's way better. And then you can
yeah.
like bring all your camping shit too. But like if you're flying into Seattle with all your camping gear and then like you have to figure out how to get from Seattle to there, it can be like a logistical nightmare. But um, it's definitely worth it. It's like another venue you have to see at
That's
some
dope.
point in your life.
So
Bucket list
the
shit.
gorge is much better than RedRocks, then, in your opinion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Red Rocks is great. You should see it, but it's you're just kind of staying in place dancing, and
Yeah,
you don't even really need earplugs. Whereas the Gorge, you can go down into the pit, headbang, mosh pit, come back up, chill with your friends, watch the sunset. It gets dark. Everyone on the hill starts headbanging. Like it's just the entire hill is just like moving in like a wave. Like it's
that's
just
cool.
nuts.
Yeah. Another thing you brought up, wear earplugs. I'm a big component. I push that a lot.
Please,
Always wear
please.
earplugs.
My girlfriend will forget them at like shows, and I'll get like so mad at her. I have like three extras now that I always bring because I know
Just
she's
bring
gonna
them.
forget them.
Yeah.
But like, I always put the on my Apple Watch. You can like switch it to like decibels.
Oh
I have
yeah.
this like face that just shows decibels, and so I'm always like checking to see like how dangerous the sound is.
Hmm.
But I mean, um, the little ones you put in are great. I found these ones called like loops on Amazon,
Okay.
um,
I think
and
I've seen like Sunflower
they're
Raver
like
and some of the
circular.
influencers push those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
those are really nice. I love those. But when I go on tour, I get over ears,
Okay.
so I'll get like full like like what you're wearing almost.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, just because I'm around it like 6 hours every single day, so I want to
yeah.
be
It's a
like even
lot
more
of use.
protected
Yeah,
than just throwing like a little thing in. But yeah, earplugs are so important. Like you don't want tinnitus. You
no,
don't want
that
to
sounds.
stop hearing shit by the time you're like 30 or 40. Like
I
it's
know
just not worth it.
the one person that you've actually, I think, worked with. It doesn't Jesse Subtronics have some tinnitus to a certain degree, like consistently, like he like always has it
I
because of it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't heard him
Yeah,
talk about it, but I'm sure a lot of the DJs do. Like
yeah,
they have full control of the monitors, and most of them just crank them as loud as they can go, so they can like I guess so they can feel the bass and stuff.
yeah.
But I mean, even as
Long
a
term
crowd
health
member, like
repercussions.
yeah, I worry for them. Like even Peekaboo was saying he has like $400 in ear earplugs, and he's like, I look at it as like
Damn.
health insurance. Like
Oh yeah, dude.
it's like for my future, and like if I don't have my ears, I can't like do my career. So
Yep,
it's like worth paying as much as I need
yep. And well,
for
and
that
when you're on,
safety.
especially when you're on that level, and you're touring, and like you said, you're around it 6 hours a day. It's like invest in yourself because $400 is nothing compared to what the bill will be if you fuck up your ears.
Yeah. Also, like who wants to like wear like hearing aids and stuff? Like especially if you're like 30 or 40, like that's
Yeah,
crazy. But I feel
yeah.
like there's just like maybe isn't enough information out on the damage that
Hmm.
this decibel level will cause you. I feel like a lot of people just are like, oh, it's a music show. I'll just go and like hang out. And then their ears are ringing for like 2 days. But like,
Yeah.
I don't think you realize the extent of the damage
It's like,
that
oh,
is
just a little
caused
ringing in
by,
my ears. I'll be okay.
well,
No.
most shows are like over 100 decibels. So
Yeah.
I heard
What's
that
the what's the danger level? I can't remember.
it's over 90
Okay.
or 80.
80.
You don't
Got
want
it,
to
okay.
be like over 80 for more than like 30 minutes or something. Uh, Liquid Stranger travels with a PK tech, and so they bring the whole PK
Ah.
rig, and then they bring a
Uh-huh.
tech, and so they tune the rig each night for each venue, so it
Yep.
sounds like primo. Uh, but I heard he had it up to like 130 at a venue, like for Martin's
Sheesh.
whole set, and that's like really,
Incredibly loud.
really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like I get that it sounds amazing and it's like loud as fuck, but like if you don't have earplugs, like
Yeah, not the move.
everyone please wear earplugs, please. It doesn't make the music like any worse. You can still hear everything. It's just
Dude, I don't
like a
even
little
notice it.
quieter.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
you might notice it at first, but then like as soon as they've been in for a minute, everything becomes like
It's the same
normal
thing.
and balances out. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, that's crazy.
good call though.
Man,
Yeah, everyone wear
yeah.
earplugs, please.
I want to go back to your career, and ask you how you went from obviously the early days to now. You have to build relationships. You have to be good at networking. I've talked about this a million times on the podcast, but
Hmm.
how did you as a photographer go about doing that for yourself?
It's I think it's just like about building like friendships and trust in
Yeah.
the industry, and a lot of times it's not even like with the artist, it's like with the management and with like their team. um Most of the times you're talking with the teams anyway. I'll like show up to a lot of shows and the artists are like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here, and I've been like talking to their team, or my team's been talking to
Yeah.
their team for like weeks. um yeah, I think it's just like I was started working in 45 East, a really good club in Portland here, and you just like make an effort to like I've never wanted to be like annoying or like that like pushy guy who's like always in the green room, blah blah blah. But you want to make an impression and you want to be
Hmm.
memorable. Um, and so it's just like being friendly, trying to make sure that the artist like feels comfortable around you. You're not like annoying, you're not like pushy. You're just like there, you do your job well.
Yeah.
You're not like stepping on any toes. You're not drinking all of their rider, like um yeah, just like being respectful, and kind of knowing your place
Yeah.
in that scene. But yeah, it's just like you slowly meet people, you might like vibe really well with someone. Um a lot of photographers have like purely not hired, or a lot of DJs have purely not hired someone again because they just didn't like them as a person.
Right.
They could be amazing, their work could be like incredible, but if like they don't click as a person, like they just like don't want to be around you.
Yeah. I
And
was gonna
like,
ask you, like, what do you think in your personal opinion? What do you think has garnished, the opportunities that you've been given, between, how talented you are, was it your pricing or just your personality? But it sounds like it's like a combination of things of like, yeah, you have to know your place, you have to, have a good personality and know how to just make friends. But then also you have to have the work behind you to be like, yo, I'm
yeah,
also good at what I do.
yeah. I think I'm just like, I think I'm respectful and like quiet, and
Hmm.
um I just kind of know when to like interject, or when I'm like welcome, and when maybe someone wants space.
Right.
You just kind of have to like read the vibe.
Yeah.
A lot of artists will come in just like exhausted from their last show, and they might just like not want to talk. They might want to relax. So you just like
And that's
kind
okay.
of,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, like
Yep.
with Peekaboo, I we did the Bellingham show and then Portland the next night, and I drove him from
Hmm.
Bellingham to Portland, and like I could tell he was like exhausted. It was like his fourth show or something of the weekend, and so like
Oh,
we just hung out, chatted about COD, talked about
nice.
video games. He
That's
just
the
like
other thing
chilled.
too. Don't always talk about the industry either. Like
Oh yeah,
talk about other things. Talk about video games. Talk about whatever. Yeah.
yeah. They
Truly make a
Everyone
friend. It's
tries to
not all
talk to them
business.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like purely like talking about like shows and stuff, but they're just dudes. They
Yep.
play COD, they go to the gym, they do all the same stuff. So it's like just try and like find a common ground, and like give them space if you think they
Yeah.
might need space. But like with touring, it's like very important that you and the artist get along, because
Yeah.
you're spending almost every day together.
And you're up there
So
on stage when they're trying to perform. You got to know that place too.
yeah, like around Martin, like he doesn't like other people on stage,
Yeah.
and like I built that trust and that like friendship with him, where it's like you're the only person allowed on stage. I trust you. I know kind of the way you move. Um, I know what to expect from you, and so that was like really important too for our relationship. Just that mutual trust and respect. Um,
Yeah.
Not getting too in his face, not
Right.
just flashing him in the face like the whole show, like in and out, kind of just respectful of his boundaries, and like the
Hmm.
fact that he's working and like doesn't need those constant distractions too.
That kind of, I guess, kind of leads me into my next question. You mentioned that you work with a manager now. How has things changed as far as like business relationships since since you've had a manager?
Well,
Are things pretty similar, or like, I mean, in the back end, I think things started to move slightly differently since he's kind of in
yeah,
charge of like that portion of it, and you still have to be your same happy self and know what you're doing for your job when you're there. But how has that
yeah,
changed? Because you mentioned that you've shown up places and artists would be like, I didn't even know you were going to be here, and it's just because your teams had been talking and
yeah.
you had to show up for you both had to be there for work. But how does that change? Has that changed at all, like your personal relationships with certain artists?
Not really. It's kind of helped, if anything, because
Okay. Because that's all
uh,
you have to focus on now.
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
around more. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like I've been working with Subtronics and like the Red Light team a lot, like
Mm.
Boogie T, Dirt Monkey, Hesh, Gengar, Ghastly,
Yep.
and like I'm just like around almost every weekend with them. So it's just it's much easier to be like, oh, what up? Like we have like more of a casual like friendship.
Right.
Whereas like it doesn't really matter to me if they know I'm going to be there or not. It's just like they're just happy to see me. Um, and I just love the fact that I can just show up and like do my thing. Like I don't have to worry about
Mm.
anything else. Like I just have to deliver like good photos within like a day
Yep.
of the show, and like it just makes everything like so much easier. Having Joseph, my manager, just he's also building relationships on the back end, so he's really tight with their management now.
That's
Um,
nice.
so like they're all really good homies, and then I'm good homies with the artists, and so it just like
It works out. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like talents,
it's helped so
talent is
much.
friend and business friend are kind of like it's almost like two separate entities now. Where like you
Yeah,
kind of fall under the category of the artist, and he makes the business relationships. That's cool. Very
yeah, no,
cool.
it's helped so much. I thought it might make it a little less personal or personable,
Right.
but the fact that I'm like around so much now is has gave me a lot more time with these people, and I've gotten to know them a lot better, and they've gotten to know me. So there's just a lot more comfort and just camaraderie between us. Uh, Even though we might not be talking as much on like the back end.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
like a lot of times Joseph will come out to like festivals with me or big
Okay.
shows, and he'll be kind of building relationships and chatting with artists and management and creating those new opportunities for me.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm working and like I'm busy shooting and like doing
Yeah.
stuff for the shows.
You're doing the art portion of it.
Yeah, and he's in the back
Yeah.
doing the chit chat. This is who we are. This is what we do. Like building those kind of relationships. So like it's just like kind of a perfect pairing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loves emailing, and he's got that like I don't know if it's right or left brain, but like we're opposites.
Yeah. Yep.
So he just loves that emailing and networking and hitting up about invoices, and I like hate that. I just want to show up and do my job. So it's just like the perfect
It works
combination.
out. Yeah, that's awesome. When did what? I honestly I didn't even until I did the research for this, and now sitting here talking to you, I didn't even know that like, oh, are there other photographers in the game that like have managers? Like, is that a common thing, or is that more of like something that you've developed on your own?
There's like a few uh it's something we definitely built together.
Okay.
But like there's like Acre and Kurza and some other big like I don't know what to call them, like media management companies. Uh, but yeah, I think there's just a big market for it because photographers don't necessarily want or know how to reach out and do
Yeah.
all that like back end stuff. They just want to show up and do like work and make
Yeah.
pretty photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's a huge market for it, and like we did a whole hiring process for bringing in new people to the team, and I think we had like 150 applications.
Wow.
Like 150 people wanted management, and so
Wow.
we went through those together and picked out uh, 10, and then narrowed it down to five. And so we hired on Joseph, my manager, hired on an assistant, um, and she picked up four of them, and he took on another one or two. He manages a couple DJs as well, so
Oh, cool. Okay.
he's already got his plate pretty full. But yeah,
How
that was
many
kind of eye opening.
how many photographers do you guys have on your team other than you?
I think seven,
Okay. Cool.
and one of them is Excision's photographer, Luis Collado, who's like my favorite photographer.
Yeah.
He's based out of Phoenix. He's an absolute killer. We also have Jeremy Verone from LA, who's with like Of the Trees.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he does a lot of stuff with the Compass people. Um, and yeah, a couple of people in Seattle, a couple of people in Florida. Um, the market is there. So if we can, I think we're honestly looking to hire another assistant and get another two or three people in,
Sweet.
because people just like need it and want it and don't are
Yeah.
sick of doing shit by themselves. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, the we're excited with like the way this is moving and growing and
That's awesome.
constantly evolving, and the fact we've only been together for a year, and I've been on two tours already, and I think I've shot over like 150 shows this year already.
Damn.
Um, yeah,
That's
it's
a
been
lot.
crazy. I'm shooting like 3 or 4 shows a week.
It's good that you have consistent work though, and it's worked out as far as like a consistent income.
A lot of weekends, the calendar, like I'm booked out kind of through the next month or two. but like some weekends will be like slow and I'll just have like one artist.
Mm-hmm.
But then everything just kind of filled in. I have like 4 shows this weekend now. Like things just kind of happen,
Just happens, yeah.
and like people are like last minute, like, oh, we're coming to Portland. Like we should hit up like the knockout team. Um, and so like things just, I think I have Blank and Eddie on Thursday, and then the AT Aliens guys
Mm-hmm.
on Friday, and then Jason Ross on Saturday. So
Excellent.
it just like filled up. Like I think I only had Jason Ross last week. So
Oh,
things
perfect.
just like it just
This
yeah, it
happens.
kind of just
Yeah,
always works out. It's really cool.
that's very cool. I wanted to. We're kind of getting to the end of time here, but I have a couple more points I want to talk about. Another person outside of, I guess, the industry, and you've brought her up a couple times, that is very supportive, I'm sure, is your girlfriend. And I just wanted to get a little insight of like, does she aid you at all in what you do, or what does she do like outside of? 'Cause I know like some people like Sonia and Jesse like they kind of like help each other in some other roles, or like even Solvin King and his wife, she started as a
Yeah.
photographer. What's the relationship there with you? You guys intermingle at all with work, or is it just kind of like a thing that you have on the side?
Um, no, she doesn't really help me with work so much, but she's just like incredibly supportive, and I take on like huge workloads
Yeah,
um at festivals and most weekends, and so she's just like always there, like supporting me. Um she'll be backstage, like if I need anything, she'll like go grab it for me. Like just like having that person to
very helpful.
support me and like be
Yeah.
there for me, like when I'm exhausted and don't want to talk to anyone, she'll just like hug me, and like that's kind of like all I need. um she's not in the industry. She loves everything about the industry. She's been going to raves for years and years, and it's just like always there with like a nice word, or like she'll go get me food at a festival, or just little things that just help
Hmm.
me and like show me that I'm like loved and cared for, and uh, it's very helpful. I wouldn't want
That's
to do
awesome.
this like alone,
How did you guys
because
meet? Just
it's
through
just
the industry? Just you working?
uh yeah, we have a bunch of like similar friends,
Okay.
and we're kind of in two friend groups, and they started like kind of crossing. um and yeah, we've I think we met like around this time last year. So
Oh, cool.
she stuck with me through like 2 Liquid Stranger tours, and um
That's a lot, especially for a new relationship. It's like, this is what I
it
do.
was
I can't
really
really
hard.
change that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we had been like, we weren't even dating yet. We had been talking for like a month, 2 months or something. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm leaving for 2 months. Like, we'll stay in contact.
Yeah.
But she was just like there every day. Like, we FaceTimed a lot. Um, and I think that was like pretty rough for her. But she 100% supports me. And like having that support is incredible. And I appreciate and like love her for that.
Yeah.
And I don't think she wants to become part of the industry or anything,
Yeah.
but just the fact that she's like there when I need her. Um, and I always get her. She always like she comes to a lot of things with me. Um, Whatever she can like do around work and stuff. But she's always at the gorge with me, and we'll like camp together, or
Sweet.
she comes out to festivals and stuff, which is very helpful. I need the
That's
moral
awesome.
support sometimes, because
Yeah. It's a lot.
I think I took on 15 artists at Basscanyon.
Holy shit.
Um, and so just I'm constantly like juggling, like this person wants photos, this person wants like a few selects, this person wants a family photo. So it's just like I'm just constant. There's like constantly like a million things going on in my mind,
Hmm.
and I'm shooting other people while these people are emailing me asking me for stuff. So it's just like it can become like a lot.
Especially if you need to get those pictures out, you said in like your turnarounds, like usually like what, a day?
Well, everyone's like hitting you up the next morning, like, "Hey, can we get
Yeah.
those photos so we can like post
Like,
them today
I
about
wasn't up
last
all night. I'm
night?"
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of times you'll get home from the show, and it'll just be like you got to edit for 2 hours, because they're going to
Yeah.
be hitting you up in the morning, and you can either wake up super early and start editing, or just edit
Just
until you
stay
fall
up.
asleep.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, it can get pretty rough. I actually got like one of my biggest, I can't remember which month it was, but I did like 6 festivals back to back, and I was home for 1 day a week in between those. Um, and I actually got like kind of sick. I got like a fever,
Oh,
and my body just kind of stopped. It was like you've done enough. Like you
yeah.
work too much. Like we're gonna knock you out because you won't knock yourself out. Um, so that was like pretty rough. I was in bed. I thought I had like COVID or something, but it was just exhaustion.
Yeah.
So I'm like constantly finding that happy medium of like a great paycheck and like good mental
Happy life
health.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just got to balance it. Like I guess me and my manager are kind of trying to find that balance right now because he's kind of getting me as much work as I want, which is amazing and I appreciate. But I got to figure out what is enough and what is too much.
Yeah.
Uh, because when you take on that many people and there's that much stress and pressure, it can just be a lot.
It's a lot.
People
Yeah.
just hitting you from every angle while you're still working, and it's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. I
But
bet
I
festivals
we're
are just
finding it. We're slowly
festivals are
finding like
probably
that happy medium.
yeah, festivals I'm sure like especially like Basscanyon or like Lost Lands or whatever when it's like everyone, you've built the relationships, people want you to shoot for them. They see the talent and it's like
Yeah,
it would be a ton.
at Wakan Fest, we had I think we had like half the lineup or something hit us up, and
Holy shit.
I was already work because those are like my people.
Yeah.
Like I was with Martin for 2 or 3 years, so like I know I toured with a lot of them, and they were just all around. Uh, but I had already accepted the media team, so
Mm,
I just ran the media team for that instead of taking artists. But I think I probably would have made more money doing artists. But
doing ours,
it's
yeah.
just the pressure and the stress would have been much higher, and all the deadlines and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always just like juggling so many different things.
A lot to juggle, yeah. Going back to your relationship with your girlfriend, did you ever, because you had this much going on, did you ever feel like, did you ever take a break at least for where I am right now with the podcast and everything I have going on with my career and trying to build and stuff like that? Like that's very much my center of focus. Did you ever take any like period of time where like you didn't date or like that you just had too much on your plate to where like you're just like I don't even know how I'd have time for this?
Like for dating,
Yeah, just like before you and your girl met, like was there ever a period of time where you're just like, I'm just focused on my career right now?
the first 3 years were like that.
Yep.
I was just kind of like fully grinding. I was in a pretty serious relationship over COVID when shows weren't happening.
Mm.
Uh, that didn't work out, but yeah, I think I think like the support is like very helpful.
Yeah.
Like I get like wanting to be alone and just like pushing your career and pushing the craft and like bettering yourself, but
Do you think it's taken it takes it to the next level since you do have that support? Like you're able to like maybe push a little harder or like do a little bit more since
yeah,
you're like, yeah,
I think so. Just because like it like everyone has like shitty days or is overworked or is like too much stress is put on them, and like having someone else to kind of like be like it's okay, like I'm here, like it's fine, like you got this, you're amazing. Like sometimes you like need to hear that
yep,
because like you as a person might not be telling yourself those things,
yep,
um, or you might like forget those things. So having someone like reminding you of that is like very helpful, and I think it's nice that we're both kind of like our own individual people and we're not like reliant on each
dude,
other.
that's so important.
She's
Yeah,
yeah, she's like okay with me going off on tour and she trusts me, and like obviously there's like a bunch of like shit that um other people might like have an issue with,
hmm
um like with someone going on tour like all around the country, like different city every night, but like I think just having that trust and um that support is kind of game changer.
that's awesome. Have you guys ever ran into any issues when it came to you going on tour or anything like that? Was there you seem to have things pretty worked out, and she trusts you a lot. But with time or anything like that, she ever gotten has any issues ever popped up, or one of you guys ever gotten jealous because you guys have to spend some good amount of time apart?
Yeah, I think at first, when we didn't have the trust that we have now, there was like some issues with like jealousy and just like
Yeah.
there's always like I guess there's always just like girls around in like green rooms and
Yep.
people are
Part of
always
the
like
game.
trying to do shit. But yeah, I think that now we've built that trust up. She kind of just knows that I'm not gonna like do anything
Right.
and trusts me and just wants me to go uh like push my career forward.
Yeah.
So at first there was like some jealousy and we weren't officially dating on the first tour, so I know she was like a little nervous about that. Um, but yeah, I mean we've known each other for a year. We've been dating for like 7 months, so
Sweet.
um, yeah, we've got some good trust going, and I think if I did go on another tour, she'd be fine with it, and I'd probably fly her out to a few dates,
Yep.
um, have her come along, kind of see what it is, and I think a lot of times it's maybe worse in their mind than what's actually
Yeah.
happening. They build it up to be some thing where there's just like half naked girls like all the time, blah blah blah. But it's like
It's so weird how like desensitized if we've been in the industry for a while, we've been a part of the community for a while. It's like I don't even look at like I don't care. Like it's just what you wear. Like
yeah,
it's just like it's the same thing as if you're walking down the street wearing a t-shirt. Like I don't even notice it anymore.
yeah, like especially if you like already kind of like love someone else too. It's just like it just doesn't
Yeah.
really even matter or register. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I think a lot of times uh, she or other people might like build this like picture of what's really going on when um, it's you're literally just like sitting
I'm just work.
in the
Yeah.
tour bus like getting drunk with the openers like just having like a good night. Like it's not that crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I'll wrap up here. What's coming up next for you? I know you've been talking a lot about, you're busy constantly, but what are some things that are coming up that you're most excited about?
So we have the I'm doing a little run with the Smokeland guys
Oh, cool. Love their music.
next week. Yeah, we got super tight on the last tour, so I'm gonna be doing like a little Northwest thing with them, and then I'm heading to Dream State
Awesome.
in LA. I'm working with Abraxas, which is like
Oh,
7 9 side
fire. Yep.
project.
Yep.
They're closing out on Saturday. I think after Armin or something, which is kind of insane.
That's wild.
Um, and then I have Ember Shores in
Cancun.
Mexico. Yeah,
Yep.
I think we're doing
Millennium.
Ember Shores and maybe Shipwrecked and maybe uh, Paradise Blue. So
Oh,
I might
sweet.
I
Yep.
might be
Excited.
going to yeah, I've never been to Mexico, but we might be going 3 times this year, so that's very exciting.
Awesome.
I'm going like 3 days ahead of time, so we can I'll kind of take that as a
Chill.
vacation. I haven't really taken a vacation or done anything like not music related in years. Uh,
Sweet. That'll be a nice
so
little
that'll
break
be
for
really
you.
nice. Just kind of lie on the beach and do nothing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I've never been to Mexico, so
Awesome.
we're working with I think Blank and Enzo and maybe Subtronics down there. So
Sweet.
very excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. If there's producers out there that are listening to this episode, who might potentially want to work with you, how can they go about doing that?
I would just uh, reach out to the email in my like Instagram and Twitter bio,
Cool.
Joseph at knockoutmanagement.com. Um, that's like the way to do it, like professionally. But like if they
Hmm.
just want to like hit me up in the DMs and like talk, I'm like very open to that.
Excellent.
I'm constantly like surfing SoundCloud while I edit, trying to find new music and up and coming people. Um,
Sweet.
so yeah, I'd love to chat to anyone on the come up. I cut discounts for like smaller people that I fuck with, so don't let like my rate scare you away. I'm usually willing to work with people
Awesome.
um, on the come up because I know the struggle. I know that
Yeah.
most things are in the red for the first couple of years and then turn around and start popping off a little harder. But yeah, definitely willing to work
Hit you up.
with
Hit your
like
line.
anyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me?
no, I really like what you're doing. I've been
Awesome.
impressed at some of the guests you've gotten, and I've actually listened to quite a few of them, and you're killing it.
Thank you,
And
man.
yeah, I can't wait to see who else you get on here. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool watching you grow.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I don't think I've said this publicly, but eventually, I don't know if you listen to any like major podcasts, like someone like Nelk Boys or like Logan Paul or any
Hmm.
of those shows. But eventually, I want to get to that size to where I actually have like a full set, professional cameras and stuff like that. Like, I want like an actual set. So that's kind of
That'd be
we're just getting
tight.
started. We're just getting started.
I mean, yeah, Mitch also did that like super early in his
Yeah.
podcast. He just set up a side room in his
Yep.
house, and whenever people came to New Orleans, he'd just be like, "Hey, you want to come on?" And then just
Mm-hmm.
pull them in there before a tour stop or something. I bet you could easily do that with the audience you're building. That'd be really cool. I'll have to come back.
Yeah, for sure. Please do. Last question: if there's one piece of advice you could tell yourself when you first became a photographer, what would it be?
Maybe don't get like so down on yourself and second guess yourself so much. Um, just like do what you feel is right and just like keep going. I feel like I was like really hard on myself, and that kind of like held me back in some ways. A lot of times, like you'll send a full photo album to an artist, and like they won't post anything, or and you won't like hear back from them. But then they'll book you again 2 weeks later. So it's like,
What the
do you hate
hell?
me or? But I'm always just like second guessing myself. I'm like, oh, they didn't post anything. Like they hate every photo. Like I suck. But if I don't know, I usually get like hired again. So it's like I don't. Maybe it just like wasn't the right time. Maybe they're
Yeah.
like working on a different kind of social media strategy. So just like trust yourself and um, yeah, it'll work out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude. That was awesome.
Hell yeah. Peace.